Hi everyone. I got several emails on the video I did on change. Most of them wanting to know, how do you get someone to change? What is that resists people to change? Why are people like that? And people don't like to change because of that one four-letter word, fear. And we all know that that's a man-made word. You know, we create fear in our lives. It's not something innate within us, within our spiritual selves. And what happens when you have that is you get very attached to being in this world, the things that are attached to this world. So you tend to see the world as black and white instead of gray. It's kind of like always noticing the front door of the house and always noticing the back door of the house, but never noticing what goes inside in the house. And what goes on in the house is the journey. It's how you get where you're going. It's how you enjoy being here. It's how you have a life. And unfortunately, a lot of people are very black and white. Our society, in America, our society teaches us to be black and white. And most European or Eastern countries teach you to take the middle way, the road less traveled. And to get someone to change is very difficult unless they want it. And yes, the universe will show signs. It will continue to show signs. And yes, some of those signs are severe. Some of those signs are cancer. I met someone at a raw food potluck who was ready to give up because she developed cancer. And you know, you have to realize that cancer just doesn't evolve just because of what you eat. It evolves because of what you think. It evolves because of your genetics. There's a whole scope of things. So you have to look at everything before you can say, oh, I'm going to chuck this or oh, I'm going to chuck that. That's the very black and white thinking that people do. They want a one-stop shop. You know, they want everything at once. And that's not how life is. Life is a journey. Life is supposed to be enjoyed. And, you know, the best you can do for people who live in a black and white world is just remind them of the gray area. Remind them that it's there. You can't force them to be there. You can't force them to have a better life. You can want it for them. But you have to just let them find it for themselves sometimes. A couple other questions I got was about mediumship. Wanting to know the difference between clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant, and why some mediums only do one thing. By that meaning they only use clairvoyance, they only use clairsentient, they only use clairaudient. Clairaudient means that you hear, clairvoyant means that you see, and clairsentient means that you feel. There's a lot of mediums who don't want to feel. When you feel what that person on the other side has gone through, when you feel, you know, their anger, their resentment, their issues, if they haven't let go of them when they crossed over, that can be very draining on the medium. And many mediums choose only to use one aspect or two aspects. For myself personally, I use all three. Seeing, meaning I see visions. They show me pictures so I can decipher what they're trying to get at. Hearing, I actually hear them talking. And feeling, I actually feel what they're trying to explain to me. So it's, for me, it's like just having a complete conversation as I would hear with someone on the other side. Does it make me better? I don't know. Does it make the other guy better because he doesn't? I don't know. I think everyone has their own gifts. Everyone has their own ability to make that gift useful and work on that and make themselves the best that they can be, no matter what it is they choose. And you need to pick someone you're comfortable with. Honestly, just pick someone that you resonate with. It doesn't really matter whether they have 1, 2, 3, or however many abilities. And another question I got was about psychics who, quote, do it all. And by that, the person who wrote in meant, you know, the person had gone to a psychic fair and there was one woman doing 3 different things. Supposedly she was a medium, supposedly she did tarot cards, supposedly she did astrology, supposedly she did numerology. She was just like all these things rolled into one. It doesn't mean you can't. Personally, I think the easiest way to live in this world doing the healing arts like I do is to focus on one thing and do it really well. What happens is a lot of people who try to create a living out of doing this feel they need to do more than one thing in order to support themselves, in order to support their means. Or they feel that they may have mastered one thing and want to move on to something else and not necessarily let go of that thing that they mastered, but kind of complement themselves by adding something else to it. For myself, that was learning how to be a medical intuitive. I just felt it very much complemented my mediumship. However, does astrology complement it? I don't know. To me, no. To someone else, yes. But if you're trying to get the best information possible, you want someone who focuses on one major thing and does it well. And, you know, it doesn't make anyone worse for doing more than one thing. I know many people who do. I also know many people who do more than one thing who should only do one thing. They just don't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't feel good enough about what they do to realize that they're really good at it and that they should just focus on it and that they can take care of themselves with doing just that. It's kind of like the guy who has a day job and then just feels insecure, so he goes out and get a night job. It's kind of the same feeling. But those are just some emails that I had gotten that were, you know, kind of all over the board. But I just wanted to answer all of them, and until tomorrow, ciao.